Much like Game of Thrones before it, HBO's Westworld is an elaborate, epic puzzle box of a production that serves in the end as an excuse to explore something much smaller and much more important: character. This is why, despite the sweeping vistas, what holds everything else up are the conversations, how they're written and how they're acted. And today I want to take a look at one conversation featuring the great Anthony Hopkins. Specifically, I want to examine how Hopkins acts this scene, how he elevates every line of dialogue to a hypnotically interesting level.
You imagine I've gone mad, do you? Lost my way?
We're simply concerned about the extent of the changes you're making. We want to protect your legacy.
My legacy?
Okay, the background of this scene is that Teresa Cullen, an operations manager of the Westworld theme park, is trying to stop, or at least stall, the creation of Robert Ford, Anthony Hopkins' new storyline for the guests, a storyline that is generally wreaking chaos on things to the point of worrying the park's financiers. It's clear that Teresa feels that Ford's undertaking is just too risky, but instead of forthrightly telling him so, she puts things in euphemistic terms.
We want to protect your legacy.
My legacy?
Okay, that pause is fully 7 seconds long, and it is amazing. After reacting in disbelief at such a shameless euphemism, Hopkins, in silence, cycles through a few emotions. First, disbelief, then a consideration of the words for a split second at their face value. Maybe he should safeguard his legacy. Maybe he shouldn't be so ambitious at his age. Then, a smile. And this scene will feature several shades of smile. This one is kind as can be in the face of what he considers to be an attack, one that insults his intelligence. As he looks down and chuckles, the smile seems to acquire some suppressed anger. He can only bear to look at her in quick glances as he composes himself. Then he fires back an antagonistic remark.
You don't like this place very much, do you? I've seen many of you come and go over the years. And I can tell the ones who enjoy their time here and the ones who don't.
What's impressive here is how Hopkins breaks down the dialogue as written. In interviews, Hopkins has described how he reads scripts 200 times or so, to the point where the dialogue is lodged in his brain. Then he steps away, lets it gestate in his mind, and when he arrives on set, he relaxes himself and
let the part play through you.
By having such a command over the words, Hopkins is able to modulate the tempo of their delivery to get the most out of it. This sentence, for example, is sped through.
I've seen many of you come and go over the years.
As is the first part of the next sentence, until a pause after who, drawing out the word enjoy, which falls right back into a speedy delivery, almost slipping over the words until the final two, which, coupled with eye contact, slow down to function as an accusation.
I've seen many of you come and go over the years, and I can tell the ones who enjoy their time here and the ones who don't.
I admire it. The audacity of it.
Oh.
A small interjection, but see how he opens up like a flower from the hunched position, how he releases a little tension to receive the compliment. A great touch.
I came here once as a child with my parents. I think we even sat at this table. When I started working here, I realized this place wasn't something I would enjoy.
And then we get a second interjection when his suspicions are confirmed, followed by a hunching again and a deflated neck. Then, from this position, Hopkins launches into his key speech.
In the beginning, I imagined things would be perfectly balanced. Even had a bet with my partner, Arnold, to that effect. We made 100 hopeful storylines. Of course, almost no one took us up on them. I lost the bet. Arnold always held a somewhat dim view of people. He preferred the hosts. He begged me not to let you people in. The money men. Delos.
Okay, we're about to learn that this whole meeting is a threat set up by Hopkins, and to signal that, Hopkins incrementally dials up the menace across 3 terms that specify who he's threatening. You people, money men, Delos. Listen to it again.
He begged me not to let you people in. The money men. Delos. But I told him we'd be fine, that you didn't understand what you were paying for. It's not a business venture, not a theme park, but an entire world. We designed every inch of it. Every blade of grass. In here we were gods, and you were merely our guests.
Watching this the first time, it was here that it struck me how crucial Ford's personality is to the functioning of the series. I mean, Westworld is, in many ways, a ridiculous idea, both as a theme park and as a TV show. To work, the conceit had to be mapped, reflected, justified in the complex desires and ambitions of its creators. The writers have achieved that in Ford, but it's Hopkins who really brings these things to life.
And how did that work out for Arnold?
Sadly, he lost his perspective. He went mad. I haven't. As you well know, I have always seen things very clearly.
The threat now explicit, Hopkins colors the rest of the scene with a sinister glee.
This is the table I sat at with my parents.
We know everything about our guests, don't we? As we know everything about our employees.
From here on out, he presses his advantage not with force, but with comfort, with a smile. No longer needing to convince Teresa of his dominance, Hopkins dances into different attitudes for a couple of seconds before falling back into that smile. Like right here, where he's matter-of-fact.
We know everything about our guests, don't we? As we know everything about our employees.
Or here, where he's concerned.
I do hope he will be careful with Bernard.
Or here, where he's genuinely caring as his eyes wander off for a moment, too.
He has a sensitive disposition.
The producers of this show are smart to keep the camera fixed on Hopkins' face. His ability, learned across many decades, to convey such a web of feeling and suggest such a universe of feeling within, about a character we know little about, expands the entire show's range and strengthens its persuasive power as a piece of art. That's what a great actor can do. He can give words and images, or a short scene like this, a volcanic energy with a quiet look. In Anthony Hopkins' hands, in his eyes, Westworld isn't just a reflection of its creator's personality. It's a self-portrait.
You can tell the board that my narrative will be completed on time, and it won't be a retrospective, as I'm sure you have all feared. I'm not the sentimental type.
How do I know? How do I know?
Hey everybody, there is a new Nerd Writer video every Wednesday, so if you click right there, you'll subscribe to this channel and get all the videos. Sorry I've been so irregular with my posting recently. I've been in Italy, it's been crazy, but also I've been writing a couple speeches for the Singapore Writers Festival, which I'll be at in a couple weeks, and so that's been taking a lot of my time. I have to shout out a channel that I really love called Wisecrack. They do video essays like me, 8-Bit Philosophy, Earthling Cinema, stuff like that. They just did something on BoJack Horseman, which is a show I love, and the video was great too, so I'll link that below. Check that out. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see everybody next Wednesday, hopefully.